We, who, we, we. All right, so today I want to talk about what to do when you don't want to do anything. So I really want to touch on the concept or the belief of feeling motivated first and then doing something versus not feeling motivated, um, but doing things first and then creating the motivation to keep going. So, this past week has been a bit of a struggle for me with my energy and my level of motivation. Um, I've been finding it really hard to just like exercise and work on my business, and just a general sense of I don't want to move. Um, I'm not motivated to do things, which is really weird because generally I stay like really busy, and I try to make use of my time. So getting up and moving and getting things done isn't really, it was never really an issue. Maybe unless I'm like super sleep deprived or whatever. Um, but yeah, this week has just been really weird, and I don't know if it has anything to do with the fact that the West Coast is pretty much burning down right now, unfortunately. So maybe it's something in the air, shitty air quality. Uh, I mean, I've been sleeping enough, so it's got to be something. Um, or maybe it's the fact that I'm not in my usual workspace back at home. I'm back here in California visiting for a little while, so maybe that has something to do with it as well. And I know when I initially thought of filming about this topic, I was really just not wanting to do it because, like I said, I was just feeling really out of it. So it's kind of funny for me to make this video about what to do when you don't want to do anything. But there's a reason for that. And I can pretty much guarantee that by the end of this video, there will be a noticeable change within myself and how I feel in terms of my level of motivation by then versus the initial process. So, about a couple of nights ago, I felt just really a big sense of dread when I thought of exercising. So, for this week, I had made it a goal to exercise 3 times, and also like do some physical therapy and some core workout. And it was just a big struggle. My level of motivation prior to the workout, I mean, just thinking about doing it, it was probably like a 1 or a 2 out of 10. But I knew that from past experience, there is there could be a change in how I approach doing something that I really just don't have the energy or desire to do. And how it all starts is by pretty much identifying the easiest part of the task that needs to be done. So for working out, doing my round of exercise or whatever, the easiest part of that for me was to literally work with a 15-pound dumbbell, which is like insanely light. But because that was the easiest thing for me to do, that was exactly what I did. I worked with the 15-pound dumbbell that I had and just literally started moving with it. I was doing some like variation of a good morning, which is like hamstring and glute exercise. But basically, I just did like a set of 10. And, when I started, my level of motivation was, like I said, at like a 2 out of 10. And, I would say like during, as I got through the sets of exercise, I started like sweating a little bit, and I was just kind of pacing back and forth, like, to catching my breath, whatever. And I would say like more towards like the end of the workout, my enthusiasm and my and how motivated I felt about the workout in general uh, went to like a 6. So not the best. Like, a 6 wouldn't qualify as like oh, I'm so pumped to do this. But when I compare a 6 to a 2, like I'm feeling pretty decent. Like it's way better than a 2. So yeah, that was the workout, and it's really no different than how I approach other things in my life. Things that I don't really want to do in that moment. So, it could be anything like having I don't know, like a tough conversation, or, one thing I really hate is taking care of little administrative things like calling places to set appointments, or calling places to get, to like ask questions and get clarification, or anything that's very bureaucratic. I dread it immensely. I just really, really hate doing that. So, how I usually approach those things is, I think obviously I do procrastinate. Um, and I think for me, procrastination is really a coping mechanism to avoid feeling certain ways that I don't want to feel. Um, but I think how I approach things like that is to literally like find the easiest thing, like the easiest part of that task. So if I needed to like call somewhere, um, I would probably just Google up the number. So that would be like the first step, and then maybe like a following step would be, okay, maybe just like jot down a couple of questions um, that I want to make sure that I ask so that I don't forget. So that would be like another easy win, and then I guess the following step would be to make the call, and since I already have the list of questions that I want to ask, I think that really takes out the need for me using my brain for something that I already dread doing a lot. So, um, maybe you guys have something similar with like calling these places and just being on hold, or no one answering the phone, um, or just like being transferred like to like a million different people with come on, like that can't be enjoyable. So I guess what I'm trying to get at is, um, sometimes when I don't want to do things, it's easy for me to think of the concept of, oh, well, I'm not motivated, therefore I'm gonna have to sit until the motivation comes to me, and then I will do it. But I think that's really like ass backwards. Even though that's like my first response, um, I think the winning solution, and the way that I can be in control more, and not just be like a victim to my feelings. Um, how I can empower myself is to actually create the motivation within myself, within my body, so that I can keep going. So basically, I believe in the concept that motion creates emotion. Instead of like the initial thought would be like, well, emotion first, and then I would get into motion. You know, we should flip it around and be like, well, I will get in motion so that I start creating the emotion. So, you're actually in control. Whoa. Yeah, so I would say that um, maybe the next time when you just don't feel like doing the thing that you know you need to get done, I would just invite you to just start moving your body and start getting into the motion, um, and also like identifying the easiest part of the task and just completing that so that you can create a small win for yourself. It might sound a little bit like cheating. It's like, well, if it's an important task, you should just do the most important thing first. Well, you're not going to get anything done if you procrastinate it for like weeks on end. So, you can kind of cheat a little bit and just do the easiest thing so that you feel pumped to keep going, and eventually you will complete the whole task, the important part of the task or whatever. So if you don't feel like going out for a run and exercising, then just put on your shoe, like put on your shoes and put on your headphones. Easy win. And maybe the music will start pumping you up, and you're like, okay, well, maybe the next thing I can do is walk out the door. um, Maybe you don't want to write that lengthy blog post for your blog. Well, just start like scribbling down some words, like topics, or like one-liners or bullet points. um, that will get your creative juices going, and you know maybe like before you know it, you'll already have an outline on what your post is going to be about. um, and also, like, if you don't want to pack for your trip because you're going to have to like pack like two luggages, and you hate having to like do all those things, like maybe the first thing you can do is to just throw your suitcase on the floor and open it up. And maybe the next thing you can do is just start like jotting down things that you need to have for your trip, on your phone or something. And maybe before you know it, you'll start like throwing in your freaking underwear and shit like in your luggage. So it's like, who knows? But I would just invite you to start moving and just doing the easiest thing first, and you will gain momentum in continuing. And I'm not saying that this works perfectly. It obviously doesn't. It doesn't work perfectly for me every time. I still procrastinate like hell, like a lot of the time. So it's not a perfect system, but it is definitely an additional tool uh, and perspective or whatever, another tool in your toolbox that you can utilize when you just don't want to do something. A daunting task is a daunting task, but a daunting task could become less of a daunting task if you find and create small wins for yourself. Putting on your shoe can be seen as a win. Scribbling can be a win. All those little things can be a win, because like starting is the hardest part of doing it. And it does take energy to start, but that's why I encourage you to just do the easiest thing first. And just checking in again on how I'm feeling now is, I would say my level of motivation and enthusiasm and just how good or how I feel, I would say, like now compared to the start of this video, I would say my level of enthusiasm has jumped like maybe 2 points, which is not like magical. It's not like 0 to 100, right? But that's like 2 additional points. So it's like, hey, like maybe that 2 additional point will allow me to like do other things like work on another outline for another video, or maybe like offload this footage and maybe look at the footage, and maybe, who knows, like maybe I'll like start editing it or something. But like how I'm feeling now versus like pre drafting, like what I'm going to talk about in this video, like 2 days ago, man, 2 days ago I was at a 2, and right now I would say I'm at like a 7. So and it all started from me just jotting things down in my phone notepad. So that's like the easiest thing. So yeah, that's my takeaway. That's my insight on this. So I hope you found some value in this, and take the small win, and just get moving. All right, talk soon.